Okay, there we go. Hello, hello, hello. Welcome back. My name is Zaria Ray Lee. If you didn't know, today challenge, okay? We are here today and we're about to get into it. Straight in. I usually do a little bit of opening, but let's just go in. Daily affirmations or daily statements for today. My first one that I wrote, I already kind of did. I had to do, actually, let me go ahead and do my little 30-second spiel so that you understand how today's going to go. Okay. So, we're going to go through the daily statements. I've kind of already gone through everything for today, even there with you all, because I wanted to make sure that I really focused on the workshop that I have for you guys today, which is specifically about creating strategies and plans to help you transform your life. Okay. So, with that being said, daily statements today, and then we'll move into the workshop. Okay. So, my daily affirmation for today: I am creative, innovative, naturally curious, and diligent. I am on the path of achieving my goals, visions, and purpose. That's a really nice one, really lovely. My daily appreciation today: I am proud of the ways I choose to spend my time. I am proud of the work I do. Period. That's it and is. Gratitude: I am grateful to have spaces that provide support, safety, and allow for vulnerability. Okay. And that's what this space also is for you as well. If you feel like, you know what, I just need to have somebody who's also there on this journey, can like kind of just walk beside me, we do it together. That's what we're here for. That's what we're here to do together. Okay. That's what these 30-day journaling challenges are for. That's why I do them on live streams. And that's why I've created a whole community specifically for this on Pampered and Lux, the website. You can check it out. It's in the description box below. Okay. And that is actually called the Present Journey Club. So you can join that at your will, check it out, see what all it comes with. But I want to really get into the juice for today. That's not the main thing I want to highlight that I have for you guys. Okay. The daily prompt for today. Here we go. Day 24. What have you how have you survived the turbulence in your life? Write a strategy and plan for how you soothe yourself in the times of chaos. Okay. So take your moment to write it down. And as you write it down, I didn't finish my breakfast this morning and I don't want to run out of energy. So you write the prompt down. That felt weird. Okay. I'll give you a few more seconds. Don't forget to write down how you feel when you're reading this prompt and you're writing it. Okay. That's going to be necessary for your analysis version 3. Okay. All right. And then just to give anyone a little bit of extra time, I'm going to go over why I decided to do a workshop today, starting today. I kept telling you guys it would be later this week, but last time I did a 30-day journaling challenge. Okay, everyone should have it written down by now. Last time I did a 30-day journaling challenge, because I don't want this to be muffled. I need this to be heard, okay? I have to make sure, because the sound on like 1 or 2, I look back to watch them and I was like, oh my God, y'all can't even hear me. Okay. Oh, I thought I had it. I apologize. I've had some technical difficulties the last few days. That is wild. Okay. No, not that song. I'm sorry. I'm very distracted right now. Like I just woke up. I came on the other day in the morning and I was like, oh my God, I don't know if I can do these in the morning. But I needed to do that for my routine right now. So I was discussing. Wow. I'm just gonna go to the next part that I know I wanted to go over. Okay. So with this prompt today, we're gonna be analyzing exactly how the workshops. Thank you. But we're going to be analyzing exactly how you can create plans and strategies for yourself, and how you can recognize strategies and plans that you've already created for yourself that you may not have noticed. But I decided to do these workshops because back when I did my first free 30-day journaling challenge on live stream, I decided to do a whole 7-day workshop extravaganza at the end of it. Okay. And at the end of this workshop extravaganza, I realized that I had basically cranked out some really, really good um, content, but as well as lessons that I feel like a lot of people have questions about, especially when I'm having discussions with friends or like family members, or just people who like I may come across as I'm sitting in a restaurant. Maybe I have spark up a conversation, or I'm downtown and I'm walking and I spark up a conversation there. It's just, these are topics that I hear a lot of people ask a lot of questions about, when the answers aren't outside of you. They're all inside of you. You just have to figure out how to get them. Okay. And with these workshops that I'm giving for these last 7 days of the Reset My Life 30-day journaling challenge, we're going over strategies and plans to actually reset your life. That's the first one. So also be patient with me, y'all, because I take notes as I'm going so that I can remember what I said I'd like to give you guys without having to go back and watch the full live session myself. Strategies and plans for transforming. We're doing some workshops on perfectionism and releasing self-judgment. And then another one that I told you guys about is the vision boards that we're going to be doing together. And you can feel free to do it as a physical one or even as the digital one that I showed you guys, which I'll show you guys again today, just to make sure that we're all understanding how strategies and plans work and how your vision board fits into all of that. So there will definitely be a whole bunch of other topics sprinkled in between and sprinkled throughout, so that you guys can actually hone in on the overlapping theme of resetting your life. Like, this is really what it's about. The last days we've come down to, we're actually going to put in motion the resetting of life. And I'm actually going to help you guys do a full sort of monthly reset so that you can see how that works on a monthly schedule. I've done one before where I did a yearly reset with you all, and I did a vision board experience. And that's actually still a live stream that's available for you to watch. If you want to watch it, it's still there. You can watch it yourself and then gain some insight from that. But for the rest of today's workshop, we're just going to be going straight into strengthening and planning. We're going to go straight into strategies and planning as key tools in transforming your life. Okay. So the first thing I will say is that we're still going to be using the journaling analysis process. That's not something that we're going to stop using. This is actually part of the reason why I was able to understand that I already had a strategy and plan, and that I was actually mislabeling which one was the strategy and the plan. So it definitely helped me become more clear on the understandings that I already had about myself, and just make them even more um, appropriate to what's actually going on in my life right now. So the next thing that we're going to do, I actually wrote a full journal entry for today, for today's journaling prompt. So I'm going to read the journaling prompt to you all after, just going over this one more time. How have you survived the turbulence in your life? Write a strategy and plan for how you soothe yourself in times of chaos. So, in times of chaos, this is what I've written. Okay. And I'm also going to read the feelings and everything, like my full analysis. Okay. So the first thing I did was analysis version 1, which you do before you even answer the prompt. I came up with the questions. These are also questions you can ask yourself. They're not necessarily completely personalized to me. They're still generalized to the prompt itself. Okay. Analysis one. If you could give yourself advice through one of your most stagnant points in life, what would it be? That's one of the first questions you can ask. Another question you could ask yourself: what would you tell your past chaotic version of self now that you know what you know? Okay. And then you could also say, what would you tell your past stagnant version of yourself? What would you tell your past, maybe really hopeless version of yourself, a version of yourself that just didn't see a way out? So focus on the things that you would tell yourself in the moments where you know you need this strategy and these plans. Okay. So that's how I did analysis version one. And it helped me answer with literally my plan as soon as I answered. After I gave myself those questions, it literally helped the plan just start coming out, which I originally mislabeled as my strategy. And I'm going to go over why strategy and plans are different. Strategy is, what types of actions do I want to take? What is the intended outcome when I complete these actions? That's what a strategy is. A strategy does not change. The strategy is set until you finish the goal. The strategy is set. You can adjust it a little bit, of course, but you're going to stick with one strategy. You're not going to go and try three different strategies, even though you really need to stick with the one to finish it and see if it actually works. Okay. So a plan is, what steps do I actually take? Like, what are the actual steps that I'm going to take? What are the actual things that I do that help me go for the intended outcome? Okay. And those are things that can change. They're things that can happen in different orders than you originally set out. They're things that may come into your plan way after the fact. Like, plans are things that are going to be a little bit more mobile and fluid. And a strategy is something that you change after you see that it's either definitely completed your goal or it's just definitely not going to complete your goal. And that's the only reason you change your strategy. The reasons you change your plan are just because, oh, today's a little different than yesterday. That's a plan. Versus, oh, 6 months from now, I'm going to be in a different place than I am today. The strategies that I use for this first 6 months are going to be different than the next 6 months. So that's how strategies and plans can be also thought out. Strategies are a bit more long-term use. Plans are a bit more short-term and like very mobile and fluid. And you just kind of have to go with the flow in terms of a plan so that you can actually enact your strategy. And if you guys remember me talking about how I'm quitting sugar, I originally set out, my plan originally was to immediately quit sugar. That wasn't working. The overall strategy I decided to use to quit sugar was to make sure that I control the environment that I'm in, because the environment that I'm in actually enhances or decreases my ability to achieve success, which means that anything that happens in my environment, that may change the plans that I decide to use. If I move, if I end up like having a weekend to myself in the whole house, if there's a time period where maybe I move, but my family comes to visit, they're going to buy sugar. They're going to have it with them. I just have to make sure that for me, I understand the environment that I'm in. I understand what temptations are going to be around, and I adjust it accordingly so that I can actually be where I want to be in terms of achieving my goal. And that was me changing the plan so that I could stick to my strategy. I actually didn't have a strategy before I had to change the plan. The minute I realized I needed to change my plan, I was like, oh, I need a specific strategy for this. I need a strategy. Okay. So that has been my strategy. Pay attention to my surroundings, understand what temptations are a little too much for me, understand what needs I have to place around me and desires I need to place around me in order to ignore and not fall prey to that sugar and consumption. So those are strategies. Now, the actual actions that I do in order to do that are like when I go to the grocery store, first of all, I always read the labels. I read the labels even at the house after people have bought them. So I read labels. That's a part of my plan. I read labels. Reading labels helps me achieve the goal of ensuring I know what's in my food and I know whether this is something I want to have in the house or not, as a need and a desire to help me stay away from consuming the other sugar. Your plan helps you fulfill the strategy, and the strategy helps you ensure you reach your goal. So if at any point you feel like your plan isn't helping you achieve and fulfill your strategy or your goal, go back to the strategy and then create a new plan. That's it. Go back to the strategy, create a new plan, create new actions that actually help you achieve the goal above the strategy. Okay? Now, let me go ahead and read my journaling prompt answer because I realized I didn't even get into that. But this is a really deep, in depth workshop. And I'm showing you guys, even within my journaling prompt, how I use strategy and plan. So, with my analysis version 2 from the journaling analysis process workbook, I'm still using that. Okay. I went in with the feelings before first. Actually, no. I'm sorry. That's analysis version 3. I did analysis version 2 before I even answered the prompt. That's why I wanted to wait and hold off on reading the prompt. I apologize. So, analysis version 2, there's a whole different way that you can use this. I've only shown you guys one way that you can use this so far, but a second way you can use this is kind of an extension of analysis version 1. So you would basically write down 7 different journaling prompts for yourself. You're going to basically create new journaling prompts, but they're all going to start with the word why. And they all need to pertain to something and the themes and concepts that actually go within your journaling prompt for the day. So this isn't just something to help you gain more clarity. These specific types of questions are questions that you can use to create your own new 30-day challenge. You can use these questions to actually figure out, okay, um, why exactly do I feel this way about a specific concept or topic that we keep going over, a specific theme that keeps reoccurring? Why do I feel that way about that specific concept and theme, disregarding anything that's currently going on in my life? Okay, it's kind of outside of the present, and it deals more in the past. So the questions that I wrote, these are 7 different questions that I wrote, and you guys may probably come up with a lot of the same ones because this is very specific to the prompt, but not specific to your day. Okay. And when we answer the journaling prompts, usually it's specific to the prompt and your current present day. Okay. All right. So the different way that you can use analysis version 2 is ask those questions like this. Why have a strategy in the first place? Why have a strategy? Why have a plan? Why do you choose to move through the chaos and those stagnant times? Why do you choose to move through the hopeless times? Why do you soothe yourself? Why take action? Why pursue your version of living? Let me say that one more time. Why pursue your version of living? So when you look at this journaling prompt and you start answering the why to a lot of these questions, you're going to realize the recurring theme here is purpose and actual goals, actual achievement of goals. The reason we create plans and strategies are so that we can fulfill a purpose and or achieve a goal. But you're going to start to actually uncover what your genuine purpose and goals are by asking yourself these questions and actually diving deep into the past, asking the why again to each one after you've answered. So if you decide to do analysis version 2 as a separate entity, Okay, there's two different versions of it. So now we're focused on the second version of analysis version 2, which is not in the journaling analysis process. I didn't want to confuse y'all and have you like, wait, this is a little too much. So this is the first time I'm actually sharing this second way to use analysis version 2. And the way that you do it is by addressing and looking at the journaling prompt as a whole. You say, okay, what themes and concepts are popping up here in this prompt? You ask why to those specific themes and concepts in regards to your past, to the past, okay? And then you answer these questions one at a time. You could take it a day at a time, a week at a time, however much time you need to take it, but one at a time. And you still, once again, ask why 7 times again, okay? So that's how you would use the analysis version 2 by itself as a whole journaling process, okay? You can use all of these analysis versions as one journaling process themselves, okay? But the reason that sometimes we need to break it down and go one by one with certain analysis is because we need different things at different times in life, okay? And analysis version 2 is here to help you gain more insight into the ways that your past have cemented certain things about your values and foundations that you don't want to change, that you feel aligned with, and that actually work for you. Because we've always focused so far on things in the past that we want to change and that we want to leave behind. This is where you can use it to figure out, what actually do I want to keep? What do I want to keep? Because there are plenty of traits, characteristics, personality things, behaviors, habits that you have already that are good for you, that are great, that align with the purpose that you actually have. You just have to make sure that you recognize them so you don't leave them behind in the past with everything else. And that's why analysis version 2, in its own set of analysis process, is such an impactful thing. Okay. I definitely wanted to go over that first. And I did say yesterday in our journaling, at the end of the journaling, that today would be a full day of a lot of like just gems and things that I started to understand about myself and with other people around me. So today is going to be a bit longer than 30 minutes, but I really hope you guys are gaining as much as I feel like I'm even learning, again, giving this information to myself. All right. Now we're going to move into me reading my journaling. Okay. After I've gone over journaling analysis 2, because I waited until after I did 1 and the different version of 2 to actually answer my prompt here. Okay. I actually filled up 2 pages. And then I went into analysis version 3 as I was answering the prompt and after I answered the prompt. The first thing I wrote were my feelings before answering the prompt today. So day 24, reset my life. Feelings before answering. Oh, excuse me. Oh my gosh, excuse me. I was content, neutral, perceptive, observant, and maybe a little reverent. That's how I was feeling. Okay. So my answer to today's journaling prompt. I've survived the turbulence in my life by recognizing when I'm outside of myself and values, opening myself up to my opportunities, embracing empathy for myself, releasing definitions and dynamics that hold me back, diligently believing myself, and enjoying the moments as they come and go. What I've done in the past is an amazing plan. I originally wrote strategy. I didn't understand that I was actually talking about my plan at that time. Um, some things I would add after having this past experience, like my past turbulent experience, are reaching out for help, being audacious to act on my beliefs, staying firm in my opposition to what doesn't work for me, taking my own advice, living vicariously through myself, doing what feels hard ASAP, providing feasible and relevant deadlines for myself, and journal every day, especially the good days. Okay, let me make sure that I have a feeling somebody's trying to call me. So I'm going to go ahead and do not disturb. It messed up the live last time. Okay. All right. And then I continued to journal, but this is actually where I started to recognize the feelings that I had during, which were I was proud of myself. I felt confident, affirmed, and content. And here's the rest of my journaling. As for my strategy, one, assess and acknowledge feelings and their causes. Two, soothe feelings. Three, think of one action that soothes feelings and starts to solve my problems. Four, create full action plan. Five, continuously live each day adjusting to my needs. Six, assess what opportunities around me align with where I currently am and act as a bridge to my vision. Seven, accept all the parts of me while embodying who I truly am, one choice at a time. Eight, repeat full plan continuously. And that is it. But really that's my strategy. Strategy. I apologize. Sorry, Z. It's okay. Okay. So, my feelings afterwards, I felt determined, content, motivated, supported, uplifted, and empowered. Okay. And when it came to figuring out the first time that I actually had these feelings, it was actually a bit difficult for me to trace the first time. Sometimes it's a bit easier to remember the most memorable time. And what we want to highlight right now is the first time you felt it, not the most memorable time. And the most memorable time may be the first time, but sometimes it's a different time. And I'm going to show you guys how um each of those looks trying to figure it out, because I actually wrote down a whole bunch of I had to trace one of these feelings. So the first time I felt the feelings from before, which were content, neutral, perceptive, observant, and maybe even reverent, were either my first remembered experience with learning phonetics in kindergarten, or when my great grandmother had passed at her funeral. Like, it wasn't necessarily that I wasn't upset. It was just was appreciative of the fact that she had such a long and wonderful and fulfilled life, and she had a great quality of life before she passed. And my mother was very close to her, so I felt like of seeing what the of a loved one does was something that was very humbling. So I think humbling was part of that as well. I felt a little humbled. So let me write that as well. I don't want to forget that for myself. Okay. And that was the first time. It took me a while to trace back to it, but that those two were some of the first times. And the only reason I'm not sure about the kindergarten experience is because there was a whole lot of other feelings also going on with that day. So I don't want to group that specific experience in with these feelings when there were other feelings going on as well. Okay. Um so that's what it looks like to decide between two different experiences. If you feel like, okay, one of them was completely only that feeling, and then the other was that feeling plus all these other feelings, choose the one that was only those feelings, even if it was later in life. So that's what I decided to do when my great grandmother at her funeral. Okay. My first experience with the feelings I had during, which were proud, confident, affirmed, and content. The first time, okay, so this is the one I actually had to trace back. The first thing I thought of was actually something that happened in like my senior year. And then I was like, okay, no, I know there's something before that. So then I thought about something that happened kind of in my sophomore year. And this is of high school, not college. I was like, oh, there's something earlier than that. I know there is. There's something earlier. And then I wrote down what I thought originally was the first experience with these feelings, which was the first time a drama teacher or my choir teacher, because these kind of happened at the same age, noticed my ability to emote and empathize, or my specific skills to be able to blend and balance sound, if I'm talking about the music part. So those happened in eighth or ninth grade at age 14. And then all of a sudden I thought about, oh no, I had this teacher in seventh grade who really affirmed and appreciated my newfound love of reading. So I had refound my love for reading after not reading for about a year or two as much. And it was just really affirming the way that that went for me, especially because I also was affirmed in my writing skills as well. But then I was like, okay, now I'm thinking about it, and there was another experience, and this is really the one my tummy feels it too, just now as I'm saying it. This was really the first experience I had being proud of myself, feeling confident, affirmed, and content. So I was in the first grade, and I don't know if a lot of other places, I know in the United States specifically, we have a gifted program. And in my state, uh, you take a test and they basically decide whether or not you're gifted, right? And when I was taking this test, all of the students who were already in the gifted program and who had taken the test before were white students. There weren't any students of color in the program. So I went into first grade not knowing how to read, just because it wasn't part of my at home uh routine. Like, that wasn't something that was happening at home necessarily. It wasn't even that it was hard for me, which my teacher found out after I started out first grade not knowing how to read, and I ended out on an eighth, ninth grade level of reading. So all of this information, like, this was coming in for her fast, and she was like, oh no, this student is the gifted students, and have her do that program as so she can have a little bit more enrichment. She's getting done with things in class way too fast. Like, and now what else is she supposed to do with the time? Because kids get a little rowdy. All they do is get distracted at times. So she was like, okay, I'm gonna request that they have you take this test. And I do remember that my mom agreed to it pretty fast, but I think my teacher had to fight to let the school let me do it. Um, and then I took the test, and it went like really well. Like I didn't have any test anxiety, anything like that. Um, and it was really a test about using a lot of innovation, imagination, ingenuity, things like that. So she uh they had the test, and they basically said it was like inconclusive, but she told me, because she also saw the test, she continued to actually teach me alongside the other gifted students, because there would be a specific time in class every day where all of the students would be engaged working on a specific task, but then the gifted students would get done with it soon, like very fast. So she would group us all together and teach us an extra lesson. And she decided to go ahead and do that with me, even though they said my test was inconclusive. And the reason I do this is because they had me take the test again in that same first grade. I believe it wasn't even second grade. They had me take the test again. It wasn't, it did pass. Like, I did have the grade. They just said, oh, we're going to wait to put you in until next year. Like, that's kind of what they said. And then the next year, I think something must have happened with the way that they were trying to keep me out of that program or something, because this was when my parents decided, and I'm sure there were other factors as well, because my mom was a travel nurse. They decided we were going to go out of state and actually go to school where she was working at that time, which was Florida. When I got to Florida, they had me take the test. I passed immediately. They were like, okay, cool. You're going to be with the gifted students immediately. This was a school that had a lot of children of color, and it was not necessarily in deep South Georgia. So I didn't really have a problem entering it. But when I got back, because we didn't stay at that school for more than like a semester, we actually went back to my hometown. When I got back for the second grade, the gifted program in the school was like, oh, well, you've been away. You're going to have to take the test again. even though I had already taken it with them and passed, this is why I'm like, okay, this is more than just inconclusive results. Okay. But it was very affirming to have that teacher still understand, know, and believe that I still needed that extra engagement and a few extra lessons to feel like I was actually learning, right? Um, and that was my first experience with it. Now, when I explain the whole thing, that's exactly how I would explain it while I'm journaling, which is why it takes a while and you might get carpal tunnel. And it's okay to do voice memos, it's okay to do video diaries, do whatever you need to do to get it all out so that you can actually express, acknowledge what's going on and what happened, so that you can feel it and move through it and soothe it and then go about your life, right? So that's how I actually got back down to it. And then I started realizing as I was going down in the list, I felt most affirmed, appreciated, and confident or seen by teachers and people who teach me or mentor me or nurture me in that way. Mm. Oh my God. Okay. So I'm just going to go over two more things with my um, journal entry, and then we're going to go ahead and move on, okay? Because today's already gotten a bit long. Okay. So my first experience was my feelings after, which were determined, content, motivated, supported, uplifted, and empowered. Was like okay, I remember this. This was in like second or fourth grade. I can't remember which one, but I think it was second grade. And the only reason I can't remember is because I had the same teacher for second and fourth grade. Um, like she had moved grades by the time I had gone to fourth grade. So I ended up with her again. And I remember we always would have a spelling pretest on the first day of the week. So Monday we'd have a spelling pretest, Friday was the spelling test. Okay. And if you made over a certain percentage on the pre-test, then you didn't have to actually week. And I remember I only had to do the test maybe 5 school year, and we had a test every single week. So I was reading a lot. I knew what words meant. I could like actually spell the words correctly, and it wasn't necessarily a problem for me. So it became a routine. Um, and also, it was also a reward for children who knew all of the words and like kind of studied a bit more or understood words naturally. Um, Instead of taking the test on that Friday, you could go to the you go to the back of the classroom and sit at the table where you can read or play with Play-Doh. It was usually just Play-Doh or read. There wasn't really, and the only one who was reading, I think, was me. Everybody else was always doing Play-Doh. Sometimes I was like, nah, I want a book right now. I don't want my hands to smell like that. I got things to do today. So, whatever the case was, most Fridays I would end up sitting and being able to enjoy a nice little me time while everybody's doing them. Okay, everybody's taking their tests. And that was something that definitely helped me feel a bit more empowered and motivated and supported and uplifted because I started to recognize, oh, I actually have certain capabilities and understandings and skills that other people don't actually normally have. Like most of the class is doing that. There were a lot of weeks where I'm pretty sure I remember being the only one who was not having to take that test at the end of the week. And of course, there's a group of gifted students that were always kind of together with things, ending things early. I remember one of the students was really, really, really great and fast at math. Like he just got that. It was fast for him. It was easy. He was very much speedy done with it, okay? The way that I was speedy done with the writing test and the reading and the literature and things like that. So there were just different, it helped me be able to see the ways that I am capable, that the ways that I am specifically capable and the ways that I am ahead of my peers in certain skills versus other skills where I might have been behind my peers. So it just helped me feel a bit more determined to read more. It definitely, I realized that, oh, I think I'm the only one reading like for fun in this class. I don't really see anybody reading for fun. So maybe that's why I understand all these words. And I also used to like to write stories a lot. I actually just recently found one that I wrote, I think it was in like middle school or junior high. It was wild. It's giving Wattpad fan fiction. Okay, that's the energy it's giving. So maybe one day, if you're following my personal channel, I'll be going over it and just kind of sharing it for fun, and talking about certain things that influence the ways that children uh, use their imagination. So yeah, I'm really excited to do that in the future. But back to the point, those were my first experiences with these feelings. And then the next thing I did was my needs at those ages. And I put some websites in the description box that you guys can visit to actually figure out different emotional needs of different ages, because I know not everyone just automatically knows that. I went to college originally for a lot of music teaching, and then I also went for early childhood at one point, like changing my major. So I took a few classes on early childhood development. I took a few classes on things like that. And I just kind of remembered a lot of it, especially from my engagement being a nanny for a while. And then I was also a music teacher in an art center. So those things really coupled together gave me the knowledge that I needed to understand what emotional needs happen at specific ages. And even for me, I still had to double check them. And these were the websites that I used to double check them this morning. And there are also websites that you can use to just understand more about different emotional needs of different ages of children. Okay. And that'll also help you understand the emotional needs you had at certain ages when you were younger. Um, yeah, I'm not necessarily going to go over the needs that I had at those specific ages. Like, we've delved more into the personal part of my journaling, but I do want to go ahead and wrap up this experience. Now, you can definitely use those links, or you can do your own research on different spaces and find different sources of information that give you the knowledge that you need. If you don't know how to do research, you don't even know how to search, because I know a lot of people rely on Google specifically for searching. And Google is a very good search engine, but Google is also a very targeted search engine. It relies on a lot of algorithms to give you specific perspectives on the news that you're receiving, based on perspectives that you've already looked at before, and also based on perspectives that whatever highest bid company has paid for the ad space for. Now, there are a lot of platforms that help people surpass this. I do know there's one called Opera, I believe, that you can use. I'm actually looking into doing it myself, where you can actually use that search engine to not necessarily have, oh, no, no, no. I apologize. Opera is a search engine that is a web platform that allows you to like open different spaces at once. There's a whole different once I research it, I'm gonna put it in the description box when I go back to these videos. But there are definitely different search engines that allow you to see the different versions of news. Like, you can compare them, and you can also see just all of the news. Like, you're not going to get somebody just saying only one thing about it. You're going to get all the different opinions on it. So there's different search engines like that, and you can search for them, but you have to know how to ask questions and how to actually phrase certain things in a search engine to get what you want. Now, if you're not sure how to research, I have research series a YouTube research series. There are 3 different videos there. The first one is specifically how to research in your everyday life. The second one is how to research to enhance your finances. And the last one is how to research to define your purpose and your values in life and help you define and understand yourself. Now, you can use all of those or one of those to understand more about research, but they do help you start to formulate questions that will actually get you the answers you're looking for, instead of just asking questions that give you an answer. An answer doesn't give you the answer you need. So, being able to know how to ask questions and how to research can actually help you achieve the goal of getting the answer you are looking for or the answer you need. All right. Anything else for today? The vision board aspect. I wanted to show you guys how the vision board is both strategy and plan, and then we will basically wrap up and be done for today. So, um, if you look at my strategy here, so I listed it again for you all. It's basically a 1 through 8 step process. You literally follow it 1 through 8. You don't really skip anything or move around things. It's set. It's set in stone. It is what it is. Okay. Now, my plan are the things that can happen sometimes every day, sometimes every week. Sometimes these are things that happen together as maybe 3 all at once or maybe even 1 at a time, but they're all actions that I can complete to help me fulfill my strategy, okay? Now, with the vision board, if you're looking at it, you can see we talked about those top 3 words before. If you want to figure out how I came up with that one specific sentence to help me motivate myself and focus on my actual intentions, then stay tuned for that vision board workshop. Or you can also actually watch the vision board live stream. It's just a bit long. So if you want it to be shorter, stay tuned for the live stream. Um, and the back of the whole vision board you can see as well. It also has words sprinkled on it. Now, the vision board is both a strategy and a plan. The part of it that is a strategy is that my vision board helps me stay focused on the vision. Stay focused on the vision is a strategy point. The ways to stay focused on the vision are plans. So I was like, here's one thing I can do to help me stay focused on my vision. I can create a vision board. Creating the vision board was an action to the plan. The vision board itself is a strategy. And the words on this vision board, because they're telling me and helping me to stay focused, they are fulfilling the strategy. So putting these words on here was a plan. This was part of the plan that helped me fulfill the vision. But this actual board is literally the vision. So not only is it the strategy, the plan, it's also the vision, which is why having a vision board is so crucial to actually fulfilling the goals and purpose that you have. Even when it's not physical, sometimes people don't realize that you've put a vision board in your head. You see everything that you want for your life. It literally flashes in different pictures, or maybe you have different words that pop up, maybe different things that you hear, and you focus on those when you're thinking about your future or you're thinking about actions that you're taking now that enhance your future. That is a mental vision board. Okay, this is a digital vision board, and a lot of people have physical vision boards, but the vision is what lays the strategy out so that you can create specific plans to fulfill all of them. Okay. Anything else for today? All right. Yeah. We are done with today's daily journaling challenge, day 24 of the Reset My Life 30-day journaling challenge. If you are looking for more resources, my bad, you had to see my face for a second. If you're looking for more resources, you can look for the past 7-day workshops that I've done on Pampered and Luxe, the website. All of these free resources are on the free resource page. You do need to create a login so that you can access them. But once you are a member to the site, which is free, just create a login and become a member of the website. That's free. You get all the free resources. This is the 30-day challenges that you can also revisit on um, the Instagram and Facebook pages. This one is a 7-day journaling challenge. And if you are just ready to get into more of the workshops, definitely stay tuned for the rest of this journey. We are almost done. Do you know what you're going to do at the end of the 30-day journaling challenge? Like, how are you going to keep yourself going for the next 30 days? What are you going to do? What are you going to do? Because there are things available for you. You can do these 30-day journaling challenges. You can couple together a journaling challenge with the workshops and the journaling analysis process and create your own sort of 6-week challenge if that's what you want. You can create questions from analysis version 2 to give yourself a full 30-day journaling challenge. So it's all up to you how you decide to go about your next 30 days, but make sure that you don't stop at day 30. Do some more, keep going. Why not be more of you and do more for you and actually live the life that you want to live? Okay. With that being said, my lesson that I've learned today so far is I actually have been learning this one over the past 24 to 36 hours. I definitely have been in a mode for the past 20 years of my life of being in all or nothing. Like, there's been kind of a lack of balance with a lot of aspects of my life. And I'm looking to shift that, to change that. Like, I don't want it to stay like that. So I'm moving more towards balance in all things, which is why it's part of my vision board. Balance. And balance has become a lot easier. But when I first started, I was like, oh no, I'm failing. I'm not even doing everything I'm supposed to do. I'm doing everything wrong. I'm not even doing it right. Like, I was beating myself up a lot. And that's where those extremes come from. That's why I was in those extremes, because I felt like things only existed in those extremes and anything in between was wrong. But that's not true. In order to actually be balanced, I have to understand that balance is okay, and balance looks different for everybody, and balance looks and feels different every single day. So, with that being said, we are done for today. I hope you enjoyed and gained something from today's workshop and today's journaling challenge. If you did learn something and you resonated with something going on today, then share it with somebody that you know who would also resonate and learn something as well. Give them the opportunity that you've given yourself. And why gatekeep something that could help all of us? It doesn't have to just be one person being helped and then everybody else is stuck. We can all help each other. We can all benefit from this. Wow. We can all benefit from this. So, with that being said, thank you. Thank you. I enjoyed your presence today, and I'm going to go so I can drink water and eat.